Okay, Damon Vickers is our guest. I'm Alex Jones, and he was getting into some points about what he thinks my mindset is or my focus when we had to go to break. Finish up, Damon, and then I've got a bunch of questions for you and a whole bunch of Twitter questions that have come in as well. Go ahead.
No, my comment about you, which I'm no one to make comments about you. I mean, but it seems that that you are someone who looks at things very soberly, and you accept the good news, the bad news, the freckles, the warts, or whatever, but you don't delude yourself, which is uncommon and good to see it. I'm glad you're on the radio.
Well, we've got you here, and we appreciate your valuable time away from your family to really discuss where this is going, because I see all these big central bankers saying we're in danger of another collapse, a bigger collapse. Currencies worldwide are going down overall, and the joblessness is increasing. I mean, we keep talking about that, but how do you see this unfolding? I mean, what preparations are you making in all of your billions in portfolios out there to protect your investors?
Well, one thing we've been doing has been lightening up. In recent weeks, we've been lightening up and lessening our commitments to the market. If we roll over and we start headed down, we're going to start shorting the market, and we'll start shorting. We've got a number of issues that look like they're setting up. I'll be watching how they close today on the close on a Friday. If they close weak on some of them, I may go out on the day short a number of issues. However, the trend may still be up, so I'm not going to try to have too much of a bias one way or the other. I mean, yes, I do believe that the job creation is critical to our economic future and health and viability of the stock market and the economy, and I understand the relationship between job growth and innovation and
but most of the new jobs are government. Most of the new jobs are government.
A lot of the new jobs, that's right. Job growth consistently, there has been job growth in the government, and that is the growing tumor that we see overtaking the whole economy of bureaucracy and control and all of those things. So if we do start rolling down, we will go short. And yes, in 2008, a year that was pretty apocalyptic, we had a fund that went up 63%. Our hedge funds did pretty good. That was nice. And in the last bear market in 2000 to 2003, we also made a lot of money from those declines. I don't really have this love for bull markets versus bear markets. I really want what the market wants. And actually in bear markets, we make more money than bull markets because the markets fall faster than they rise because of fear. What it'll inevitably mean is that we're the holder of all these assets. We'll have to see. The gold, people have been looking for a safe haven in gold. It's been an area that we've been involved in. I think you really have to watch that roughly $1,000 level for gold. I think it's very probable that we are going to hit it. And it doesn't matter whether we hit it. The question is whether or not we really break through it and broach through it. But it's not uncommon when you break out, which is what gold did when it broke through 1,000 and ran up to $12.25 an ounce, I think, intraday, to come back and test or tap on the other side. It happens almost all the time. So I think really, probably for those investors that don't own gold already, that as we pull back on top of this $1,000, that may be an area that you may want to seek to get involved if you haven't already gotten involved.
Okay.
And that would be a place where you kind of monitor your position. But ultimately, if the you-know-what hits the fan, you probably wouldn't be a bad idea to own some gold. But you need to do it well and to own it well. And also be prepared to let it go, too. If you're proven wrong, you're going to have to pull the plug. You don't want to be owning it as it breaks through 1,000, 900, 800, 700, and you're losing money, but you still have your belief, but you're losing money. So you've got to be. I would say to take a shot at it, but also be willing to take it off.
All right, shifting gears in a big way. I wouldn't call you a globalist, a New World Order person, but you do run in those circles. You are one of the people who will be honest on the air and admit it's a world government, a New World Order. But I see their swine flu hoax imploding as a hoax, admittedly a hoax now. The EU admits it's a hoax. We had the head of that commission on just a few days ago, Wolfgang Wodarg. We have their carbon tax hoax literally imploding on every front, new scandals dwarfing climate gate on a daily basis. We have the big central banks in trouble, caught giving themselves the bailout money. That's falling apart. We have the globalization and big government being ridiculed at every level. So what do you see the elite doing? Because you're right to say we're already in a banking dictatorship. Our Congress has admitted, many congressmen and women, that the big banks run the country. But as the real power structure is identified more and more, just historically and trending forward into the future, what if you were, one of the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers or one of these big controllers, what would you be doing, or what are you hearing they're planning to do?
I don't know. I mean, you've got. I don't know. I don't hear that they're planning. I don't hear plans. You mentioned about the swine flu, and I mean that's. Last I heard was that they wanted to do injections for a second time. I don't know. My sense is that the population the global population issue is a real problem, and my sense is that we probably need some limits on that. So that may be an area that there's some involvement in.
There you go. See, I was going to do a friendly economic interview because you can bring us a lot to the table, and I don't think you're a bad guy. I mean, but you really. You bring up the big hot button issue yourself. You're saying the globalists are involved in population reduction, if I take what you say correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, and that it is a problem for the economy. I mean, we've aborted 50 million of our workforce in the last 35 years in the U.S., so we've brought in 50 million foreigners. I mean...
we brought in the 50 million foreigners, Alex, because we were unwilling to do the work that they're so willing to do. We don't want to actually work. You see, the hard focusing and the willing to soberly look at issues and see things squarely as they are, that's the work that you do. That's the work that I do. But for most Americans, they're too busy taking Paxil, Depakote, Viagra, Advil, and smoking pot all day and medicating themselves with debt to look at what the real issues are.
And they only care about the Super Bowl.
So they go down to Home Depot and they get some Mexicans, or they have Italian restaurants with Mexicans, because Americans are too good to do any work. We're too good for that. We're too good to work hard, apparently.
Well, there is something to what you say, but I see a lot of really hardworking Americans who aren't the lazy Americans who are caught in the middle.
You're pandering to your audience, Alex.
No, I mean, I know a lot of people working 2-3 jobs.
They're working 2 or 3 jobs because they've put together a lifestyle that's unsupportable with mortgage payments that are too high, and now they're trying to support something that's unsupportable. The United States system, as it is unsupportable. And there is not enough debt in the world to keep this beast rolling. As for the population issue, yes, the global population probably does need some regulation. The truth is, we should be regulating it ourselves. It is not right for men to quote unquote procreate and produce 15 to 28 children like they do in Asia.
Yeah, but the average birth's about 4 children in the world. But Damon, I wanted to get you on. But see,
population issues. We've got agriculture issues. We've got health issues, and somebody in some central has to exert some degree of control for a world that is basically in chaos and on the verge of collapse because of our delusion.
Well, see, Damon, here we are, because we've had 2 rambunctious interviews with each other. The first interview, I wasn't too hard on you. We just basically argued with each other the last interview. And I've got you here because I really want to understand the establishment view. And I think it's safe to say you're a member of the establishment. I mean, how much money has your fund managed over the years?
Yeah, that's private information.
But it's a lot.
It's probably a couple of dollars.
Yeah. The point is that you do run in these circles, and every time I am around someone of your caliber, it is the same thing, whether it's at a cocktail party or at the State House or anywhere. It's the same story. They come over and they say, Alex, there are too many people, whether you like it or not. They're a bunch of lazy slobs. There's a disdain for the public. And
no, I don't have a disdain for the public. I have a disdain for the mindset of most people. We need a a rebirth, a renewal, an evolution. Really, forget about a renewal. We need to evolve.
Okay.
Mentally, the whole world needs to like click into gear and begin to perceive things differently than they currently do.
All right. Well, let me say this and then get your take.